Hey everybody, Shiny Sephiroth here with another one of these wins. I'm so excited. As you can see here, the first team only has 5 people in it, and that was actually accidental. I was moving some people around, and I forgot to replace the first team, and then I saw that I was still getting a 100% win ratio every single time I did this, so I figured, well, why waste somebody and put them there? When maybe that person can help me later on in another team. And so at least for this round, I know I don't need a 6th player, so I left it as it was, and I just went forward with this. The other thing I didn't realize was that my Godslayer right now has Abyss, the boots on, which, I mean, is not that big of a help for a battle like this, so that makes me very confident that I'm going to put something like Eden or something, or maybe the Fatal Sword. Probably Fatal Sword, yeah, because I need Toko. So I'm probably going to put Fatal Sword on him for the next round. But that, like I said, gives me confidence that I can do well, because I'm doing this with just the boots, which, like I said, don't really help Godslayer. So we just go through here and we wait for Godslayer to do his thing. Now, we did see Cupid die off early on, as is expected, and I literally cannot remember who the other person that was on this team was. So let me see here if I can figure it out on the side. No, we still have Thinker. Whoever it was, they didn't even get to attack. Oh, duh. I was just talking about it. We don't have another person on this team. Yeah, that's how much I'm paying attention right now. Ooh, this one was actually close. I have no idea. Oh, that's one thing that I figured out that's so awesome with Godslayer in this mode. For every person he kills, he becomes invincible. So if he is continually bullying, because these people aren't getting like temporarily KO'd and then resurrected, they're full off being killed and taken off the map. So essentially Godslayer is able to rack up a ton of lives for every person that he KOs. And so I think he gets to a point that he becomes nigh immortal in this round. I'm not too surprised that Darkness is still alive. How Time is still alive, I have no idea. But yeah. So let's go ahead. Godslayer makes that pretty easy. I did mess around with this a little bit, and there were some variables that I saw that basically need to be here to make this team work. I'm not too sure if it matters which tank you have in here, but the Paladin Pierre combo is necessary. And I believe Laura is probably necessary as well. And then another good, quote-unquote, good DPS in there. And I picked Toko for this one because I feel like my Indira hits a little bit harder, and that was needed for Team 3. But we'll get to Team 3 in a second. When it comes to Team 2, why did I say that Paladin and Pierre are necessary? And I hinted at this in the previous video. They create what I'm going to be calling an Ult-Lock. They stop Collapse from being able to resurrect her team. It's a combination of Paladin's ISO ultimate as well, and if you don't know what that means, in the previous video I explained what that is. The previous video in this this mode. It was posted just yesterday. So there's that, and then we have Pierre, who is also deflating her ultimate. So not only does she rarely get the chance to build up her ultimate, even if she did, she's stuck in an ISO between herself and Paladin. So, and that's to get her normal, super hard-hitting version of her ultimate in. As you can see right there, there is another thing. It looks like it automatically happens at some point in the battle, like it's hardwired in. So even if she doesn't have her ultimate, the rest of her team pops back up. But it doesn't cause massive damage to your team like it normally does. And that's what I've been observing going through this. So really strong DPS, like probably Laura. So Laura, this combo here, Laura, Pierre, Paladin, some other tank and then Jane to amplify Laura and the other DPS and whatever other DPS you want to do. That is really good, but is not going to take away from your Team 3 because your Team 3 is going to be needing some help, like we'll see here in a second. The other issue was having Toko on the same team as Forest Dancer. It was actually causing a lot of chaos, and what was going on was a lot of the DPS people I'd been picking in there had been lowering the HP of all of the minions, so much so that Forest Dancer was never focused on or targeting Collapse. I finally found a good balance with this setup here. So we have Lucy at the top, equipped with Luminous to both increase the defense of the team, the first row, to help them become even more tanky than they are, but also her ability to boost the attack of those in the back row. We have Chloris here as a backup, just continually ramping up and adding on more damage to the team. At some point, I think she's doing like 60 or 70 million a hit at the end of every round. Yi, obviously, for his defensive capabilities. And then the back row is the DPS gang. We have Laura doing chip damage to the entirety of everybody, but then a lot of that's going to be focused on Collapse when Collapse is on her own. We have Valkyrie in the number 4 slot to hit and focus specifically on Collapse as often as possible, because more often than not, Valkyrie will kill the front row number 1 slot enemy and start chipping away at balance. And you want that to happen as soon as possible, because with this team setup, and I personally don't have enough DPS to make it a better setup than this. I think Orochi and Darkness would really help make this easier, but that's just not something I can do right now. But so we have, what's her face, Valkyrie hitting up the center and slowly chipping away at Collapse's HP, so that eventually Collapse will have the lower HP ratio out of everybody on her team, so that Forest Dancer will stop doing what she's doing now and hitting everybody else. And you'll see this later on in the match. Forest Dancer will start exclusively hitting only Collapse. This team does need a little bit of patience. There was one that I almost won, but she only had a little bit of HP left, but wasn't quite able to get, and it was round 15, and it was heartbreaking. So you'll see here soon that Forest Dancer will start focusing all of her attention, like 99% of her attention on Collapse, and is in the next round or so. I think that happens. Maybe even after this one. I think this one might have been the final push that we needed. So we just keep pounding away at her, and then, like we saw in the other round, at some point even she's just going to resurrect her team, even if she doesn't have the ult to do so. She's just going to do it. I'm not quite sure how she works and why she does that, but she does. She's also a very interesting character. Right there, perfect. I don't know if we're ever actually going to get her as a playable character, because I don't even know how that would work. Would you just if we did get her, I just see a whole bunch of people giving her all of the damage immune and resurrection stigs and everything possible, so that she could last as long as possible, so that eventually she'll just resurrect the entire team and basically you'll never die. I think that she'd be too weird for PvP, and I've never heard anybody talking about her. And this was a while ago, like 6, 7, 8 months ago. Somebody told me that she'd never been released in the Chinese servers either. So that could have been wrong information, and I've never done my homework to verify if that's true or not, but that's just what I hear. And it makes sense to me why she would never be released for PvP, but you never know. Also, if you had asked me over a year ago if I thought that somebody like Forest Dancer would exist, I still feel like she's a very cheap character and odd and just continually hitting over and over and over again, I would have said no, there's no way that they would release a character like that. Super broken. here we are. So anyway, as I've been rambling on, you've been able to see what's been going on in the background here. Just as I said, Forced Answer focusing almost exclusively on Collapse, while everybody else kind of takes care of the minions. Unfortunately, we did have Yi collapse in the penultimate round. It was really sad. It would have been nice if I could have gotten, I mean, just for bragging sake, like, oh, nobody died. But there you go. Yeah, so overall, fantastic run. We were able to beat this. And now we're on level 25, which, at least in my server, nobody has been able to do. That means I'm probably not going to be able to either, but I am glad that I'm at this point. So I'm going to try a couple times after I'm done with this video, see what 25 is looking like to me. And then, because, I mean, even though I'm not the strongest guy on my server, I was the first person, which it was this one. I believe I was the first person in my server to beat God of Maya, level 28, legitimately, and not using what's her face? Right here, like you see this guy here, he was able to beat 28 using balance, and then a lot of people got kicked off and put back to their correct level. And then, but I believe at that time I had already beaten 28. That's why you don't see me here. It's been a while since I beat it. I'd already beaten 28 with a normal team. If memory serves. I probably have a video here on this channel of it. Something along those lines. But I was the first one in my server to beat this, and I was not anywhere in the top 10 at the time. So, and I don't think I'm in the top 10 right now either. So, but a lot of it has to do with strategy and whatnot. So again, I'm just letting y'all know this, a little bit of a braggy thing, but mostly so I could encourage everybody to know not to worry too much about your level, especially when you're doing PvE. That's against the computer, against the game, not against other players. Level and power and whatnot plays a big role in the PvP when you're player versus player. Yeah, that level and power and whatnot does unfortunately have a big part to do with that. Yeah, so there's that. Let's go ahead and I pressed the wrong button. All right, now let's go through the 18 people that we had for that team and see if that setup can help anybody out there. All right, you veteran pigeons, thank you very much for stopping on by. I hope this is helpful. Thank you for everything that you guys have done for the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!